Now, today is a very special event. This is when we call on the Creator to guide us, to give us strength. And the gifts that you have, the gifts of song, the gifts of singing, and also the gifts that you're going to share from your heart in what you're going to say and convey to the people today. This is how we carry our traditions. It's something that's been passed on to you by the Creator. And I'd like to thank the parents for supporting your children. This is the kind of guidance and support that we give them so they can continue and to share these gifts with us today and also future generations.
So today you have found yourself at the Aboriginal Youth Explosion, which is hosted by yours truly, Canada Bridges. The Explosion event actually emerged very organically as a way for youth and young adults, like those that you just saw before you, who participate in our program throughout the year, to share their stories with their communities, with their supporters, with those who love and care about them.
The best investment is into Aboriginal youth. Youth are very inspiring with their talents, so it's just a good experience to be here.
The first year that we had the Aboriginal Youth Explosion, it actually went by a different name, and we had only 3 youth presenters. This year, we have more than 30 youth who will be presenting. So we went from 3 in our first year to more than 30 this time around, which is very exciting for us. And that said, if we could, we'd probably have a lot more. We had many, many youth who were interested in sharing their stories.
Growing up, I grew up in a single-parent household. My father was never there. He went through residential school. He got into a car crash when he was 16 years old, and he was prescribed medication. There he became severely addicted, and he based his life around these drugs and alcohol. Unfortunately, my father committed suicide, and he took his life in prison. I'm still dealing with that today, but I'm going to share with you how I dealt with that.
Hey, hey, ha, ya, hey, ha, ya, ha, ya, ho. Hey, yo, hey, way, ha, ya, ha, oh, hey, oh, hey.
That was a song that my grandma would sing to me every time I cried for mom and dad, and that song has been a part of my life, and to this day, that song is important to me because my late grandpa's brother, Joe Poussette, got that honor song from the Stoney people when he left to join the Winnipeg Rifles in 1944.
Today I'm here standing in front of you as a young Northern traditional dancer. I started dancing at the age of 6 and had been given my great-grandfather's name, Tatunga Wagichi, which in English means dancing buffalo. And through my traditional dancing regalia, I've learned to express myself positively, mentally, physically, and spiritually. It keeps me on a positive path and away from drugs and alcohol. Through the teachings I've learned that dancing is something very special. It is a gift from the Creator to help yourself and others positively.
I try to make everything I do have a purpose. Discovering my own wisdom and potential helped me realize there's so many people who haven't discovered theirs. I want to make a difference, and I want to make a change. And I use my compassion and my story, and it leads me on these amazing journeys with people.
Well, I think it builds self-esteem. I think it gives them a chance to show to the rest of the world that they have accomplished things and achieved things, and that they're part of the wider community.
It's an event that creates validation, and it's an event that really brings community together, brings hope, and shows how much we really do care about each other.
So much contact with people who are honestly curious about learning more about Aboriginal youth, Aboriginal culture, and how we express ourselves through artwork, and just putting myself into contact with also business associates that actually will help enable me to continue on in this as a career, which is very fortunate because, the youth today have the challenge of breaking barriers.
Throughout my life, I have been working on looking through my history and the lessons I've been taught, constantly sifting them through a strainer, thinking about exactly what it was I was letting through. Was it positive for me? What about the people around me? Or society as a whole? For example, one of the lessons I had been taught was that I would never be happy alone. 3 years ago, I made a decision to give up on myself. I took 2 specific kind of pills to complete one kind of job. That plus some beer were meant to seal my fate.
But it's what God gave us, the ability to fight forward and see things through to an end. The strength that comes from deep within when your world is losing sanity. And that is the holy grail for a human being to fight on.
Seems pointless to try. I feel insane with nowhere to go.
Thank you for my tragedy. I need it for my art. Kurt Cobain.
My story is, I got into drinking and drugs when I was younger. But playing guitar really helped me because it was another way to letting out stress and my emotions. Because I started to change my ways, I had to make a lot of sacrifices to follow my own path.
Can I take a picture with you guys? Thank you.
I realized then that I would never be alone. The hope that those people had for me is the same hope that drives me to stand here before you today.
Youth, your elders pray for you daily. Every time I hear prayers rendered by elders, they always include the youth first.
Really important for youth to motivate other youth. It's one thing to have a mentor or a parent or a teacher, but it's also another thing to hear from your peers and to have them come up and share their stories. It motivates you to want to be a part of that and to share your story as well.
And here on earth, everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky. I hope you're singing in the angels' choir. And I hope
Ever since I was a little girl, I've always wanted to sing. It was my dream to be a star.
I bet it's so nice up in heaven since you arrived. Since you arrived.
Years past, when we have debriefed with participants of this event, their feedback has always indicated that while the act of actually sharing their stories on stage has been very empowering for them, it is actually the audience or the listeners' acceptance and encouragement, in spite of the good, the bad, and the ugly in their stories, that is transformational. And so I urge you as community members to take up that responsibility today and accept, encourage, and even love the youth that you are about to hear from. And not just for today, but for all the youth who are in our communities as well.